Okay guys, I'm finally here with my December reading wrap up. I read so many amazing books in December, so I'm gonna give you the rating and what I thought about them. So let's get into it. I'm gonna go over the holiday books that I read first. So the book I read on my Kindle was Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. This book was really cute. I gave it 3 stars. I feel like I have a hard time giving any holiday romance like more than 3 stars. The fantasy books I've been reading are like so immersive that it's like a hard comparison. Cute farm town romance. It's like best friends to lovers with a little fake dating in it. It was so cute how much the male main character loved the female main character. Had such a great like best friendship, and then becoming in love was just meant to be. A holiday book I listened to on audio was Grace and Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon. I loved it on audio because it has a dual POV and so does the audio. I think it was really fun to listen to. The female main character is really witty and funny and the banter was fun. They both are going through grieving of losing their spouses. So they're bonding over that, just helping each other come out of a period of grieving. And the female main character has 2 kids, which I thought was so fun because I like having a mother female main character because I'm also a mother. It was a lot to relate to. And the kids were characterized so good. All the holiday movie references were really fun. It was like making me want to go back and watch some of those movies that I haven't seen before. So that was also a really fun aspect of the book. So it was definitely a book that I recommend you reading in the holidays. The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year is a book that I listened to on audio, and then I had to buy it because I loved the book so much. I was totally shocked by this book. I don't give a lot of holiday books like high ratings, but this I gave 5 stars. I was like hanging on the edge of my seat. I could not take my AirPod out of my ear. I was hanging on to every word that the narrators were speaking. It was so immersive. It was such a fun book with like great romance, but also like mystery, and I did not know what was going to happen. Like I did not know who was the killer. It was completely unpredictable, which I think is so good in like a murder mystery book. Like who wants to know who did it like right away? You like want to be hanging on the edge of your seat, and I totally was. Also the narration was like almost like I guess like a graphic narration. I haven't listened to that many audiobooks, but there was multiple character voices and like the sounds and everything. It was like so immersive. Like I really felt like I was watching a movie basically while I'm walking around my house doing my chores. The main male character is so romantic and so dreamy and so like protective and loving. Just totally builds her back up. Like her confidence is so down. And I love a main male character like that. That's just like building up the female main character, like helping her get her confidence, helping her believe in herself again, like helping her realize like how awesome she really is. Like I love that. The story is about 2 authors who get invited to go to another author's house for Christmas, and the other author that they go to the house is like filthy rich, very famous, tons of books out. Basically the female main character is like idol, and they go there and then a murder happens, or you know, all this. I don't want to give too much away. I just loved every second of it. This was a 5-star read for me. It totally came out of left field, and I was shocked that I was obsessed with it as much as I was. So please read this book. Of course, I had to read A Court of Frost and Starlight. This was the next book in the ACOTAR series that I was ready to read. It was actually perfect that I was reading this book during winter solstice, which is when this book takes place. And it was a perfect little cozy holiday read. I only gave it 3 stars, but only because it was kind of like a novella. It kind of takes a break in the story of the ACOTAR series and just gives you like a nice happy ending for some of the characters and kind of builds up, getting you ready for the next book, which I heard is really intense. And I love the characters, so I'll read anything with them in them. Holiday read I read was Good Spirits. I know everybody was reading this month, so I absolutely had to also. And I was really surprised by it. I love a paranormal romance. And also mixed with Christmas, it was just like the perfect book to read in December. The main man character is a ghost, but he's awesome and he's handsome and he's romantic and he's sweet, and it's like their love connection is so good. And he's so emotional because the whole book you're like, how are they going to end up together? Like, please, like how are they going to end up together? He is a ghost. I was like on the edge of my seat waiting for it to be revealed how they were going to end up together because I was going to die if they weren't. I highly recommend this. If you didn't read this in December, then save it for next year because it is a perfect like holiday cozy romance, but with the paranormal aspect, which I absolutely adored. Okay, now completely switching genres. I read a couple fantasy books, a thriller book, which I never usually read, and then a dystopian book too. I read The Housemaid, which I only read because all my friends wanted to go see the movie together. I don't usually read thrillers. I know that's like leaving out a whole entire genre, but I have like nightmares when I read thrillers because I'm like stressed about what could happen. So I barely ever read thrillers. It just gives me like an eerie feeling all the time, and I don't like it. But I did want to read this book because I wanted to watch the movie. I wanted to be able to compare. I gave the book 3 stars. I kind of gave the movie 3 stars. I feel like the pacing was a little bit weird for me. It was like the first 50% of the book, I like didn't even want to continue reading it. I was like ready to put it down. And the only reason I finished it is because I had tickets to go see the movie, so I had to like finish it. But the last half of the book is like so into it that you like can't put it down after that. And I just feel like I didn't really believe very much and like the connection between the characters. So that kind of like threw me off. And I feel like the movie pretty much portrayed the same thing. They changed a lot of the ending in the movie. So like I wasn't really super thrilled with it, but it wasn't like a waste. And I'm glad I read it. I just don't think I'll read the next book, even though everyone says it's better. So let me know in the comments if you think I should read the next book. But like I said, I don't want to be like sketched out all the time. So we'll see how I feel. This was the first book I read in December, actually, A Court of Wings and Ruin, the third book in the ACOTAR series, and absolutely obsessed. Like, this was my favorite book in the series so far, and I've only read the first 4. So I've heard the 5th book could also be one of my favorites, but this book was my favorite so far. This book with the adventure, the war, the surprises, all the extra characters that were added into this book just like made it for me. I could not put it down, and I'm afraid to read book 5 because then like the series is over until she releases book 6, which who knows when that's going to happen. Easily 6 stars, one of my top 5 books of the year, and my favorite in the series so far. So enough said about that. I got extremely lucky in December. I also read 2 more books that I feel like are in my top 5 books of the year. I didn't really get into fantasy books until like the end of the year, like the last like 3 or 4 months of the year. So I feel like most of the books that I like am obsessed with kind of like fell into that category. It's like I discovered that that genre is actually everything to me, and I just started reading those books. So all of my top books of the year are like basically in the last 4 months of my reading. Because before I just mostly read romance, which I love still. It's like the adventure and the unknown and the different complexity of the characters in fantasy books are just like so much for me. Like that was, it just sets it off. Like it sets it apart. So I read 2 more books in December that were absolutely 5 stars. And I absolutely love. So first is Shield of Sparrows. If you haven't seen me talking about this book already on my page, then I don't know where you've been, because I was obsessed. I want to say this was her debut like fantasy novel. Now I'm going to read every single book that she writes. I've read a couple of her romances already, which I liked, like the cowboy romances. I think Crossroads was the one I read. But this book is like, I'm obsessed with it. I can't stop thinking about it. Easily 6 stars, one of the top 5, maybe the top book of the year for me. Like might be my favorite book of the entire year. Also, it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I got to read it like on my Kindle and on the physical book. Like any book that has a beautiful map in it, like that is where the gold is. Like I'm obsessed. I went into this book completely blind. I did not even know what it was about. I knew there was like monsters in it. I knew it was a fantasy book, and I had a couple friends that read it and like loved it so much. And I was like, I'm just gonna give it a try, and I absolutely fell in love. There's royalty, there's politics, there's monsters, there's the world building, and the different like places that they go throughout these worlds was so well written that I felt like I was literally there. Like I feel like, you know, like when you think back in the year and you're like, where did I go on vacation this year? Like, what did I do? What was my favorite thing I did? Like going to this world was my favorite place I went. And like, I really feel like I went there, which is so cool. Like the author was so good at writing that, like feeling like you were inside this world, and like especially like in the tree houses that they're like it's just, you have to read it. And then the monsters, the way she created the monsters, the way that she described them, like I could really visualize everything that I was going through, that they were going through in the book. I also really liked that this was a very like book like set back in time. Like it was like there was no easy way to travel. Like they had to travel on horses for like days and days and days to get to the different places that they were going. They couldn't communicate with each other. So, like if she wanted to tell her dad what was going on, he's in another region, days and days of travel away. Like they couldn't communicate with each other. And I think that was so cool, because that's how it was. Like that's how, like right now everything is so instant. It's like now I can just call him and let him know like who's the traitor. But like that's not how it was. Like so they really had a lot going against them, which I thought was really fun and made like the adventure of the story like so intense. So but the next book comes out in April, Riding the Starling. I already pre-ordered it because I wanted it to match the sprayed edges of this book. So unless I can get an advanced copy, which I'm working my way for it, I am going to read it like the second it comes out. The story is like on the biggest cliffhanger, and I just want to know what's going on. I'm going to reread this book in April before the other book comes out, because I just feel like reading it as a continuation would be like so good. And I think that the next time I reread this book, it'll be even better. And you're able to like build the world even more and like pick up on things that you weren't able to pick up on, which I don't think you can get out of a romance book. I think fantasy is the only kind of book that like feels like it's even better the second time you read it. Can't wait to reread this. Can't wait to read the second one that comes out. The last book I read in December, which I just finished basically in January, which doesn't really count because I started it in December, is Conform. It's a dystopian book. It was giving Divergent. It was giving The Giver. I don't know if you guys read the book The Giver and watched the movie when you guys were in elementary school or middle school or whatever we read it, but like I was obsessed with that book. I read it multiple times throughout my life. It was too much. Like honestly, it was like making me worry for the future. Like, that's how good this book was. I never thought I would say this, but there was a love triangle in this book, which I usually hate. I can't get behind the girl not being able to decide, like, who do you love? Like, is that real love if you really don't know who it is? Like, but this love triangle had me, like, on the edge of my seat. I don't even know who I love. Like, I don't even know who I would choose. I'm still confused at the end of, like, I'm getting the chills thinking about it. I'm so confused about, like, who I should love in this book and what is going to happen. There's still so much unknown. It was left on such an intense cliffhanger that, like, I can't wait for the next book. Her next book that she wrote is called Beneath, which comes out in March, and I have an arc of that, and I'm going to read it in January. Beneath is a prequel to this series, so you're kind of, like, learning more about the world and how it became the way that it is in this book, which I'm very excited to read. Her writing is so good. It was so immersive. I felt like I was there. I felt like I could really visualize every single thing that was happening. It takes place very, very far into the future. It was very easy to pick up and understand, like, the political systems and, like, the classes and the world that she built. So I'm excited to learn more about that in Beneath. But also, I cannot wait for the next book of this book because I need to know what's happening. I need to know what happened. It left on such a cliffhanger. Like, literally in the middle of a conversation, this book, like, left off at. You're like, what? What's happening? Where's the next page? Like, literally, that's how I felt. And the next book she has for this is speculated to come out in October, I think. I don't know if it has a name yet. It probably does. I'll find out the name. But the next book is supposed to come out in October 2026. So, also going to pre-order it. Also going to be reading it right away. And I definitely think I'll reread this as well with it because as one book, it would be so good. So highly recommend read it. This was also a 5, if not maybe 6 stars. And I also think it, like, is in one of my top 5 books of the year. I read 3 out of the top 5 books of the year in December. That was just such a good, I just had such a good month. So overall, I read 9 books in December and I had an absolutely amazing month. I highly recommend you read these books and stick around for the next video where I'm going to go over what I'm going to read in January.